you have a lot of programming knowledge, you can just move forward. So yeah, anyone else wants to take?
Shreya has written that wanting to work for education at the Anganwadi level, at the rural level.
Okay. Hey, hi Shreya. So I think
Good afternoon.
hi.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Sorry for being unresponsive a little earlier. My microphone wasn't working. I'm Jovi Benson Lindo. I'll soon be a first year in my master's course in social work. I have joined this, I've enrolled myself in this particular program because I'd like to start an inclusive school within the next 3 decades. So that's part of my end goal in life. So I enroll myself in this to understand the technicalities of teaching and learning and the most efficient way of doing it. And especially because inclusive education is not quite popular as yet, I'd rather work to bring that to the mainstream and with that be efficient with it. So yeah, that's why I'm here for.
Great, good to know, Jovi. Much welcome, and first of all, kudos to the idea. These concepts sound not just something that are innovative, but something that are impactful. Very importantly, and hence they are equally important to scale and look for ways how you can actually make them work and scale both at the same time. So kudos.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Shreya, what exactly are you talking when you say that wanting to work for education at Anganwadi level? Can you elaborate a bit here?
Yeah. So hi, ma'am. I'm a student of social innovation and entrepreneurship. I have just gotten to my third semester. And as part of our course, we're supposed to conduct a pilot so that by the end of our master's, we're able to pursue a social enterprise. So choosing my sector education, we undergo these 20 days of rural exposure and we're sent to a village nearby, like our college. And during that time, I noticed that at these Anganwadis, where majority of these village children go to, there is a lot of focus on nutrition under the ICDS, but there's very less focus that is given to the education, like the preschool education. And since majority of these children are going to these, Anganwadis, and there are karyakartas and their helpers that are appointed, there's a lot of scope for penetration of their education at that level, which will naturally help them when they go to the primary schools and join the first standard. So that is the idea right now. I mean, I haven't thought of what it could be like, but that's where I want to work at.
So because this is a meeting, we can't go live with Facebook. So I'm recording this call and we will upload this whole session on YouTube directly.
Sure, no problem. Yeah.
So you guys can start whenever you want, and because this is meeting, participants can actively participate by unmuting yourself, and you can just contribute. But I will request all the participants that if when speakers are speaking, then please mute yourself for that time. And if someone else is speaking, then also please mute yourself so that background noise will not come.
Yeah. So, Sananda, do you want to start?
Sure. So first of all, thank you so much everyone to be here. It takes quite some effort to spend 1 hour of your life. It's actually that big. So we are taking 1 hour of your life and hoping that we'll be able to give some takeaways which are worth the time. So as far as skill-based learning or practical learning is concerned, because we are more in discussion, I'll quickly tell a bit about what I've done and what I'm planning to, what overall is the vision like. So last more than a decade that I've been working with MNCs and startups in their business growth strategy and marketing roles. I have been involved with a venture called Co-Emerge. I'm a founder of this venture. And now that we are scaling it up, which is into skill training and development domain. So despite having a focus on corporate colleges and schools as well, The idea is to take it far and wide in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. Hailing myself from a small town, I understand the challenges that come with moving to a bigger city. And not just, it's not about education, it's not about job, it's about fitting in, the tryst with fitting in, the efforts and the kind of confidence, the kind of motivation it requires. So there's a lot of involved more than what meets the eye as far as these skills are concerned. And these skills, the technique, okay, you can't hear me. Can everyone else, am I audible to everyone else?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Amrita has written she cannot hear me.
Amrita, I think you should check your bandwidth.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
Amrita, maybe your network might not be in a great space.
Yeah.
Okay,
Now I also can see you and hear you.
Okay, good. So the idea is once we understand these dynamics, and when all of you who are talking about some brilliant ideas, honestly, talking about Anganwadi level, talking about, the kind of concept which is more of a disruption in the world of Vedantu and Udemy and all, these all are very pertinent, very, uh, gravity ideas which can actually change the way skill, education overall, or training and coaching facilitation can change. So when we talk about these ideas and talk about these concepts, the most important thing is how are you analyzing the market, first of all? Are you looking at the market from your perspective or from your consumer/user perspective? That's the core to understand if my product or service would work, number one. Number two, when it would work, how it would work, and why it would work. Now, when you put all of this actually in a crude in a pen and paper to begin with and say, okay, this is my market segment, this is the way I want to reach out to people, and this is my plan for next 6 months and 1 year on how I'm going to build it, on a sustainable basis. Once these things are in place, then you would realize if the product that I had conceived in my mind, is it actually at the moment acceptable in the market? And if it is, where? Who are my actual audience? So I might, initially I thought, I should reach out to more school. I don't target individuals. I'm targeting organizations. But even in there, I realized eventually that maybe even in tier 2 and tier 3, at the moment, due to infrastructure limitations and due to acceptance limitations, it is difficult to scale it directly in tier 3 or smaller towns. So maybe it's a good way to go step by step, scale in one region and then move to another. So that understanding for your kind of products, the kind of ideas, concepts you're talking about, that pilot testing is very, very important. Once you have the beta testing in place and when you see that this is how my concept is going to work, this is how and this is where it is going to work, that will actually help you to tweak your offerings in a way that's more acceptable and quickly acceptable in the market. And because there is a social aspect attached to the overall, for example, Shriya's idea, if I'm talking about that really intrigued that, okay, if I'm talking about Anganwadi level, it's actually a very difficult space, but it's a supremely impactful space if you can make things work there. So when you're talking about this, are you able to get to the right stakeholders to understand the viability of the concept? That's something very important. Overall skill-based learning or skill-based approach is much more than just talking about two concepts in a classroom and delivering and coming out. There is a 360-degree feedback mechanism that has to be attached to it. There has to be key deliverables post that should be attached to it. Am I able to quantify in 1, 2, 3 the changes I have been able to make before and after the session? Unless for your deliveries also, for your products also, if you're able to identify those 1, 2, 3, as you call the learning outcomes, then it makes it easily acceptable to the people who are buying or consuming or utilizing your services. Also, now when you have created that, when you've stirred that interest amongst your key consumers, amongst your key stakeholders, then you need to also test it in a way that you can as in you can change your or tweak your offerings basis the feedback. Is my product so rigid that I can't make it change? It's like 1, 2, 3, yahi hai, this is what can be done. Or is it fluid enough to be customized or tailor-made according to what my different set of consumer needs? Because in skill-based projects and skill-based organizations and skill-based offerings, because it's people-oriented and everyone being as different as zebra stripes, it is impossible to deliver everyone with the same PPT, with the same 1, 2, 3, with the same एक customize एक ले आए वो template सब जगह चिपका दिया. Doesn't work. So that fluidity is very important in your project. Even if you're talking about a platform, for example, Anushka, right? Anushka talked about the platform when you talked about, you know, something which is close to Vedantu, which actually takes, money for the services, but you offering it free of cost to begin with. Free of cost, are you able to justify that initial 6 months? Would it be viable for you? How would you sustain that time? Because not just making that product, 4 times, 6 times cost is about promotion and making it reach to the consumers rather than just the product. Have you thought about that? Have you thought about that 6x? Where would that 6x come from? So once that is also in place, you are better equipped to understand, is going all free in the day 1 makes sense? Or do I make it like a segregated level 1, level 2, level 3? Level 3 is my free, level 2 is somewhat free, some paid, level 1 is exclusive, paid, customized, you know, whatever, those kind of things. So those kind of brainstorming, talking to experts, talking to that industry experts, talking to your peers, competitors, all of that becomes extremely crucial. Abhijit, sorry, you want to please pitch in. It's becoming a lecture session for now. Go ahead.
Yeah. So no, I think I'm just sharing your thoughts. That's very interesting. So for everyone, like if you'd like to be more interactive, please please post your questions, or if there's something that you want to ask us, please do that. You have the chat section open, and you can also unmute yourself if you have a specific question to ask. So another thing, like I think so what Sunanda is has been saying is, one is probably it's not just about building the product. Like first part, I think what I got correctly was you have to understand it more from the user perspective, if they are really ready or open to get what we are offering. Second is primarily it's not just about building the product, but more about selling it out. So the reach is something that that's very crucial. Like as innovators, what we do, like I've been in pretty much all of your shoes when during my college times कि नहीं यार कुछ तो बहुत ही interesting बना लेंगे हम लोग, but फिर जब बेचने की बारी आती है, जब उसको बाहर मार्केट में ले जाने की बारी आती है, तो पता नहीं क्या करना है. So at times we are good innovators, but we are not really good business guys. So I think वो एक दोनों का balance होना बहुत ज़रूरी है. And specifically, I think skills may be like for like even in my experience, what I've seen is I think we had a similar discussion yesterday during the local education panel. I think there needs to be like while people are moving back to their homes, there's migration happening and all of that. And now I see कि आज मैं just a few hours before मैंने ये देखा कि H1B has been like halted, so a lot of Indians are planning to move back. So that's also another level of migration. So are there enough jobs back at home when you talk in rural context or semi-urban context? The issue is कि वहाँ पे लोगों ने education से ज़्यादा अपने livelihood को focus में रखा है कि भले ही पढ़ाई मेरी 1 साल रुक जाएगी चलेगा, but मुझे आज खाना चाहिए. So families have gone to work, children have gone to work, so that is happening, and which is why मतलब even हम लोग भी अभी जब पढ़ा रहे हैं बच्चों को, so the challenge there is कि a lot of the students that we work with are on the fields. तो वो बोलते हैं कि सर हम दिन में हम लोग नहीं आ सकते, आप रात को 8-9 बजे के बाद कभी भी आ जाओ. आप हमको तभी पढ़ा दो, हम पढ़ लेंगे, बट दिन में नहीं हो पाएगा क्योंकि खेत पे जाना पड़ता है. So those are the few things that we are also facing. I think for pretty much all of you, while you are designing your products or your projects, I think keep that in mind कि आप इन लोगों के हिसाब से, मतलब whatever whoever your target audience is, कि एक तो ऐसा है कि skill based learning पे जब हम बात कर रहे हैं, so is that skill helping them get a job or get a livelihood opportunity? So it could be anything कि skills मतलब सिर्फ soft skills नहीं होता, या सिर्फ mathematical या science skills नहीं होता है. It could be also something as simple as कि क्या आप for example अभी mask का ज़रूरत है, तो can you teach someone how to sew online, कि मैं खुद का मास्क कैसे बना सकता हूँ, या फिर हाउ कैन इफ आई हैव टू पुट आउट ग्रोसरी शॉप, तो मैं वो किस तरीके से, व्हाटएवर, मतलब इट कुड बी 100 other skills that you can selling skills, those kind of stuff. So I think the more practical approach, and that's what the session is more about, कि आप वो practicality किस तरीके से ला सकते हो, and वो practicality आपके हिसाब से नहीं तो फिर it has to be more from the user or the target audience that we are focusing upon, right? So maybe, yeah, Sunanda, so you can share like what have been your experiences ki when you do such workshops. So what is the outcome, or what are the challenges that students face when you're delivering such a session, or your trainees face?
Challenges are multifold, and challenges are more than anything, they are so very unexpected challenges if we talk about. And I would always, rather than a me, I would like to, you know, make it more cohesive so that everyone can relate to and everyone can benefit from that. See, challenges, even when you know, other people in this other participants who are talking about their ideas, their concepts, overall the challenges are those which you have actually not thought of, because the ones that you've thought of, you're already prepared for them. So those are not actually challenges. So the ones that hit you out of nowhere are the ones. So for example, as basic as I know, I'm doing this project in India today, and there are some on consumer insights, and there are some who would, you know, that so because organization has put something to do something about it, there would always be a barrier to learning where the participant would feel, I really don't need it. So then by the end of those workshops, when you want a deliverable to understand that has there been any change, or how do you, if you want to assess, right? In that assessment, if we won't see the change, because that barrier that I don't need this actually would always exist. Then there are, and especially with smaller towns and cities, when we talk about smaller areas in Rajasthan, where I'm currently also taking sessions, couple of schools. Now their infrastructure is a very basic limitation, where I know that internet connection would be poor. I know it would keep on, logging off. So, but dealing with that, especially in a virtual space, when you're delivering vis-a-vis an offline classroom, it's so much different. So, but the good part is that's the opportunity which one can utilize. How innovative you can get in such a space where the lack of physical presence can be actually doesn't really become a hindrance. Can you create such rooms where you are talking about, or you are doing some online simulation exercises? Are you doing some fun aspect in, you know, every 45 minutes where you can get back their attention, which, you know, because students, especially those who are, you know, teenagers, college going crowd, for them focusing anyways in a class is difficult for 1 hour 20 minutes, and virtually, so the best thing is what they'll do, they'll switch off the video and say network nahi aa raha hai, mute kar diya, video off kar diya, network nahi aa raha hai. So how do you deal with that? So rather than letting them be, and it applies to everyone who's here, rather than letting it be in a way that, you know, my consumer is not receptive enough, the best part is there a better way where I can make my consumer more receptive? Can I think of anything differently that has not been done where I can make them interested? So honestly, I was having this discussion with Abhijit a couple of days ago, and I know maybe what I'm offering is not something, so there are some which are technology tech products, brilliant disruptive products. There are some which are high on capex products, brilliantly reaching out to nooks and corners of the country. But there are also, so end result, am I doing one aspect of my overall offering so strongly that it compensates for the aspects which are not so great? Am I able to create that USP out of, even if I feel कि यार मेरा ना इतना कुछ बहुत out of the world नहीं है, but it's okay. Can I actually put it in a way, or can I, when I'm delivering my session, can I make it that strong that these people would actually say that we want another one? That strength, one strength you have to recognize from your overall offerings. So that, it sounds very crude and ये तो बड़ा basic है. But those basics of SWOT analysis, those basics of 360-degree analysis, those basics of BCG matrix, mein where am I, featuring, those kind of concepts actually help you to pinpoint on the things कि यार ये मेरा weakness है, and this is what I can actually, work on, and this is the weakness hai, lekin is there any of my strength that I can compensate it with? What? Sorry, somebody saying something.
No, I think it is.
Yeah, Ayush, I agree when you say that we should develop such skills that would make them independent. They should not rely on someone to get employment. Rather come up as entrepreneurs who begin unique startups. That's brilliantly said. But Ayush, there's one simple aspect here. Just the way no one is, so there are born leaders, there are born entrepreneurs, there are born, brilliant minds, but there is that nudge, there is that bit of, polishing that is needed to everyone. And that is where such ecosystems help to bring those in a better light. So that, of course, and I agree, but you know what, there has to be a balance. Employment versus entrepreneurs के पास भी तो कोई ना कोई काम करेगा ही. You'll have a bunch of people to work for you. So because everybody's cut out for different things, and that is what they're meant for. Sachin Tendulkar singing वो वाला example है ना, so that doesn't work. So I think a fine balance of knowing what is that I am good at, or so let's take an example of entrepreneurship. A lot of people feel that entrepreneurs हैं तो बस A1 से लग जाओ. There are a lot of businesses, there are a lot of segments that need corporate experience.
Yes.
And not just for the experience as such, networking, first of all. Even if you have solid product, अगर आपका network strong नहीं है, by the time you reach the market, आपका product शायद obsolete हो चुका होगा. Because everyone is innovating, everyone is at it. It's a cutthroat competition. Then number two, the skills that you can learn on a salary, the mistakes that you can make being on a salary, and the chances of getting up again and still trying again, it's very difficult to take that risk initially as far as entrepreneurship is concerned, because it's make or break for you. So there are, some good things about everything there as well. So having a solid or base good experience before you jump into entrepreneurship definitely makes sense. If you see, unless of course you have such a brilliant idea and you have an amazing pedigree, how investments these days, it's a crude reality. When you look at investments, when you look at pitching, you look at startups, the biggest startups, the IIT tag, the IIM tag, the ISB tag, the MIT tag, Sloan, etc. All of that matters. So if I am not in one of that genre, how can I compensate? Again, comes back to the same question. Maybe I can compensate with a kick-ass experience. Maybe I can compensate with a brilliant team, network, angel investors, and reach out to them and tell them this is what my idea is, rather than reaching out to the top notch of VCs. There are, those kind of different things that you can look at. Yes, Abhijit, so Amrita says it is happening. My neighbor child did the same. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm also came up with this thought. So what do you have in mind when you are designing such a program? Like when you are thinking, I want to teach someone let's say presentation skills, or I want to teach someone soft skills, whatever. Like, so what thought process do you put in to actually design a content for something like this?
So first of all, the very, very basic thing is my target market analysis. So if I'm talking about school level, or I'm talking about college level or corporate level, basis the outcome that because I'm reaching out to organizations, right? I'm doing it through them. So if the organization feels that this is what I would like them to become, or this is the skill I would like them to, in a more concrete, in a more quantifiable name, where they can say that they should be able to present to a class of 60 without any hesitation. They should be able to make good presentation that can eventually be uploaded to SlideShare and become like an example, of good presentation skills. So if I'm targeting that kind of segment, the first thing is I understand what is their background, what is their experience, what have they done so far. Once that base that I can, and this I understand not only from those people whom I'm interacting with from that organization, but also I'll go out and I'll see SlideShare pay. If you see, there are a lot of college students who put their presentations. So now in those presentations, I see, okay, what have they done right and what have they done wrong? More or less the peer group acts similar. So that gives an analysis of what is the overall broad mindset of this segment of students or participants. Once that again is more clear, I'm able to point down some key 4 or 5 things that I want them to focus on. So rather than having completely lecture based content which spans over a period of 8 hours or 10 hours, the lectures would only be about 3 hours of facilitation, which should be just about this is how is the way to do it. As you know, even Ayush said, and we all agree that rather than giving them fish to eat, telling them how to fish. So facilitation, letting them do, and then feedback, and then redoing it. Also, a lot of times simulations work perfectly. So I was just talking to someone and said, what kind of entrepreneurship ideas can we talk about in classes? How do we do that? So entrepreneurship, I feel, cannot be taught like A to Z, lecture based nahi kar sakte ho. But for a college student, so I would go and tell in a classroom that I'll give a newspaper to everyone. And I say that, read the first page. Can you think of a business idea out of these 4 or 5 articles? And do it right now. So while you brainstorm with your fellows, your peers, and that time when you get an understanding of what is my thought process, then you can put down these. So I think thinking consciously, being aware of what is my thought process, and then putting it down in a subjective manner helps a lot. So when I develop my content would not be a template based, let me also say, not just a template based PPT, but a lot of engaging, interacting, and a lot of things that I can change at the same time in my PPT and say, yes, there's a brilliant point, let's add this. So that fluidity, that consistently changing has to be done. So that presentation skills are not about me lecturing how to give a presentation, but telling them to present, and every time I feel this is what is not done right, and I make them change that same time and then redo the presentation. Showing them how good presentations are done, giving one myself, getting one expert, some high-end corporate person, and telling them this is how it is done. Those kind of things. Amrita says, ma'am, to develop business or any project, how would I overcome my weakness? I have to be capable in many ways. Amrita, can you explain what exactly are you trying to ask? Can you be a bit more elaborate? Amrita, are you there?
Abhijit, you are on mute.
Sorry,
so.
yeah. I said, like, Amrita, if you want to unmute yourself and chat, you can do that, please.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think what I understand, so Sunanda, if I may take this up. So I think what we do, so we currently
Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Amrita here.
Yeah, hi Amrita. Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I wanted to ask, like, I have ideas in my mind, but I don't have like material resource, or I don't have like backing or capital to invest. So, what can be done?
Okay. I'm the devil's advocate, and I don't, when it comes to this, I would ask the very tough questions. Uh, I think you have you given up in your mind that I don't have it, so I can't do it?
Oh.
I think, a better approach when you say simple ideas, you have written out simple ideas, and you say I don't have resources. You don't need capital to begin. Let me tell you this. You don't need capital. It sounds philosophical. Trust me, Abhijit, kind of people who are in this for a very long time and doing it brilliantly well, I'm sure would back me on this. So what ideas are we talking about here?
Okay, like presently we are talking about means this eduthon is related to that. If I have in my mind that I will design my curriculum, okay, so I need many resources, of course, and I need
like
of course, like money related or any
no I would not.
How I'm not getting you.
Cent because I'm in the same domain. I have not yet spent one penny other than my time, which is very valuable.
I echo you, Sunanda, for this. To create curriculum, you really don't need a single penny.
That's I love what I do because I'm in my mind. I don't have to at least spend money, but yes, I would like it to reach a stage where my time is so valuable that which is more valuable than money. But let me tell you, curriculum. So when you explore internet, that's your, that's the place you need to be. Explore better. If you're talking about curriculum, let me give an example, quick one, because sorry if I'm, detailing a bit too much. Sorry, Abhijit. Sorry, Ruchira.
No. But, please go ahead.
So when you talk about curriculum development, if you even type anything, you would have millions of results of one same thing. Picking up the best reading, I'm not saying copying, I'm saying reading material from the first 2, 3, 4 pages. And it's very easy, even from the link से आप identify कर सकते हो कौन सा material actually अच्छा है out of all of this. Read करने से ही you get an idea what is the best thing, that's because from organic search, paid search, I hope you know SEO and SEM. So these links are top because for a reason, because they're high quality material. You read it, you understand, you get a gist of this is how the material should look like. Then it's your mind. It's your mind. You're not using money to use your mind. PPT बनानी है Microsoft laptop में आपका MS PPT, MS PowerPoint है. You have tons of softwares available for free online. I love Google. Wish Google was a person. We all could have married Google 100 times. It's so brilliant. So please use the material. So okay, जो है उसको पहले अच्छे से use कर लो. जो material है उसको पहले अच्छे से use करो. Once you have, and it's not possible that you can exhaust online resources, then reach out to people for help. They won't. Not everybody will take money. You don't need money. Trust me. Reach out to experts. Reach out to people who are there for volunteering help. And you would see curriculum designing development doesn't take money. Udemy में जाओ. Udemy upgrade में आपको instructor register करो. Free में होता है. आपको अपना curriculum डालना है, फिर आपको पैसे मिलते हैं for people who buy that. Right? It's that. It's please explore.
This is what I wanted to know about that. Sometimes ignorance also, it may be a barrier.
No, I'm a pretty ignorant person. I say that shamelessly. But that's what learning is about. We all are learning stage people.
Thank you.
Once you can explore more, reach out to people and try and go back and experiment more and more with people whom you want to target it to. Once you do it once, twice, thrice, अपने आप समझ आएगा कि इसमें क्या गड़बड़ है. What changes do I need to make to this?
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Abhijit says, ma'am, you said entrepreneurship cannot be taught. But maybe you said, but our center TISS thinks entrepreneurship is a science. It's definitely, I said entirely. Please remember, I love TISS. Please don't boycott and ban me. I think that entrepreneurship as such completely, like, किसी को घोल के पिला नहीं सकते हो, and they can't become a Mark Zuckerberg for that matter. I'm saying it is a continuous learning process. So the art and the science of entrepreneurship together, along with the on-the-job learning, makes you grow better. That's what I mean. I don't mean that you cannot really learn. As I said, concepts hai, your fundamentals hai, वो सब कहीं ना किसी से सीखना पड़ेगा, either in office or in an education setup. And I feel the college dropouts का जो हम वो करते हैं, no offense if anyone out here is, but that's again a very personal view. But जो हम college dropouts के लिए कहते हैं ना कि अरे बिल गेट्स कॉलेज ड्रॉप आउट है, मार्क जकरबर्ग कॉलेज ड्रॉप आउट है, ये कॉलेज ड्रॉप आउट है, बॉस देयर स्टैनफोर्ड ड्रॉप आउट्स, देयर हार्वर्ड ड्रॉप आउट्स, एडमिशन मिला उन्होंने बाय चॉइस छोड़ा. That means they had the brains to crack a Harvard entrance and get through it. They have proven their worth academically. ड्रॉप आउट कौन, वो आप जो बोलते हो कि 12th के बाद मुझे पढ़ाई करने का मन नहीं हुआ तो मैं एंटरप्रेन्योर बन जाता हूँ, नो, दैट्स नॉट व्हाट इट इज. So hence, and I feel it's very much you can teach, but I'm saying you cannot make it happen through just teaching or through just learning. It's a constant learning process. Ayush says, how do we help students and teachers overcome their hesitation to interact? Interactive learner-centered education has been taken up in documents, but never implemented successfully.
This is exactly the problem that you're facing right now.
Right now. So there are two asks. Abhijit, you want to say, I have been bombing everyone's spaces.
I think you can go ahead, but then just like I think to also answer Amruta, I think so the way the makeshift has been set up, I think like
yes,
I think you want to share about what's the cost behind putting together Eduthon. I think
so frankly speaking, except all these platforms and all, for curriculum we really don't have to spend single penny, frankly speaking. Like she said, that's why I jumped into the conversation and I said I echo you. Because that's true. I mean, for curriculum you really don't need to spend a single penny if you have that kind of bandwidth. But as you said, I mean, you really need a network of people, and you need people who are into this field and who can support you, who understand what you are talking. So first find out those people, and then just start exploring. That's the easiest thing you can do.
Yeah.
Even for makeshift, like when we started doing sessions, till today we have been like interacting with and conducting sessions with so many people and from so many backgrounds. But for them also, we really, I mean, for designing those curriculums, we really did not spend single penny.
Absolutely. So coming to Ayush's question, I think that's the biggest challenge that we have right now on how do we encourage people to interact. I think it has to go with a lot of personality issues in general, and so like some of the experiences that we've had right now, like we are currently teaching about 2,000 students over WhatsApp. Like these are entrepreneurship sessions that we are taking. Initially we're doing everything offline, so tabhi to classes ke beech mein we had our teams going on, so it's easy when you are physically in front of someone. But when it comes to a digital platform, even what we've seen is that students are not really open to even interact in a group. What we've done primarily is we've made multiple WhatsApp groups, and there are experts are taking sessions, but these guys are like open to talk one-on-one with the person, but they are not open to chat in the group कि नहीं मुझे मैं कुछ गलत पूछ लिया तो क्या हो जाएगा, वो हो जाएगा. But then I think specifically like in a situation like this where we are actually talking about a hackathon or we're talking about innovation or entrepreneurship, the first thing that we expect from participants or learners is being interactive, कि जब तक कि आप बात नहीं करोगे तब तक कि वो तो प्रोडक्ट बनाना और वो सॉल्यूशन बनाना वो सब बाद की बात हो गई. बट देन आपने बहुत अच्छी चीज बना ली, बट देन यू आर नॉट एबल टू टॉक अबाउट इट. इट्स goes nowhere. Like Apple is rare because it had Steve Wozniak who was making all the fantastic stuff, and there was Steve Jobs who was selling it or who was talking about it. So either you do it or you find someone who is able to do that for you. So I think even in this learning situation, it has to be a mixture, is what my opinion is. I don't know, Sunanda, maybe you want to add something to that?
I completely agree, Abhijit, because as far as, I mean, as I said, the product, the concept, the offering can be kick-ass, but if it doesn't reach the market, and how would it reach? Nobody's going to come and say, "Arey wow, Sunanda, kya banaya hai? Chalo, let's." No, who's Sunanda? Who would know Sunanda unless she goes shamelessly to 100 people and say, "Boss, please, mera product dekho, mera offering dekho, I'm doing some good stuff." So initially, everyone is going to face rejection. So please remember this for everyone, this for everyone. So this is what I got today, this morning, personally from someone, and I remember it. Pretty ones are broken. Okay. So from, this perspective, pretty ones are broken.
Okay.
Pretty ones are broken ones. Like,
yeah.
So the idea here is when you make amazing, the kind of big stuff that you see around has always been rejected by someone once. You have definitely, and all of us, I'm sure we have seen rejection in our life, personally, professionally, always. Some way or other. We have seen being ignored. We have seen being not paid, not taken seriously enough. And we thought, maybe I'm not that great. Let's forget it. Let's move on. That's one factor I feel is the biggest hindrance for the best of things. That when you say that 97% of startups fail, not all fail because they had bad products or services. Let me tell you, a lot of them fail because they didn't feel adequate enough themselves. So अगर खुद ही हम sure नहीं है अपने चीज को लेकर, market won't be. Market is cruel. Let me say that. Market is really cruel. So that conviction and that strength has to be there, because again, as I said, the 4 times, 6 times cost of reaching to the market is what is the biggest journey for you from the product on the table to getting it in the market.
Right.
And that's what is, very, very important. I want to pick on what Pragya and Ayush said, that how do we help students in, in what Abhijit was talking about. As far as interactive base is concerned, again, I would take it because the behavioral aspects, as even Abhijit said, so the solution to it is, yes, we know it's behavioral aspect issues. The solution is to both, again, it sounds ki arey to bada basic hai, but that's what the solution lies, of putting these people in a room. I mean, the teacher training programs that happen, the Triple T program, train the trainer programs that happen, and even for students, that has to be, so there are 2 things I hope you know. Training and coaching are 2 very different things. Training is for skill based, coaching is for behavioral based. तो अगर skill है भी, लेकिन मुझे लगता है वो don't want to, I don't feel like, या फिर नहीं, मतलब it's more just inhibition of my mental blockage. That's where you need coaching. And that's where when you talk about teachers' hesitation to interact, and even Pragya said that 85% of teachers are not ready to accept the development, the technologies we give them, that's also a big issue. So that inhibition would only come out not through lectures, let me tell you. When you put these people in a room with a good trainer who understands that they don't need lecture, because these people, the teachers are themselves, bhai mujhe sab aata hai, I don't need. तुम सिखाओगे हमें बच्चे से कैसे डील करना है, हम 15 साल से बच्चे से डील कर रहे हैं, what do you know, ये बच्चे हमें जानते हैं, you don't know. So there is a very specific need of a good trainer there, where who understands that these people need to be tackled with, अरे मैम आप टीचर हो, आपको ज्यादा पता है, मैं तो यहाँ सीखने आई हूँ, tell me what do you do, what do you do with students, okay, can we do it like this ma'am, do you think this would work, I think this can, we can try this. So that getting to people's level, Pragya, when you say that when you give the technology to the teacher, getting to that participants level and then making them pull up is the key to any good training or skill development program. Being someone ki I'm an MS from London, and Sunanda Banerjee is, I boast for my pedigree, blah, blah. People like, acha, tu apna pedigree rakho. It's okay, we don't need that. So that's what the core is. Getting people coming to their comfort space and then slowly taking them out of that space. That facilitation, that nudge is what brings that, helps remove that hesitation. Then Shreya says, so instance, if you wish to intervene in a sector that the government already has worked in, but has failed to reach the ground, do you think it would be difficult or one would face backlash politically for the work? Abhijit, you would be better acquainted to answer this.
Yes. So I think, so we've been doing a lot of government projects in the past. I personally was also involved with the ministry for the Swachh Bharat project. So I've seen these things happen firsthand, even for people internally. When you propose new ideas, I think there's a lot of backlash. But then that exactly gives you an opportunity, because let's say, for example, if someone like this, you talk about learning, or you talk about anything, any government project that's out there. Let's say for example, there is, even if you talk about telecommunications, so there is a government run entity which is BSNL, but how many of you use that service, right? It's a huge PSU, government chalata hai, coverage har jagah hai, but then nobody uses that, right? At the end, you as a consumer, you want connectivity. So even गाँव में भी अगर मैं जाके बोलूँ कि नहीं BSNL के सिम मैं free में दे रहा हूँ, but then people will, like, probably very few people will buy that or take that service, because नहीं मेरे को तो Jio चाहिए या मेरे को Airtel चाहिए, because it's providing me the service quality that I want. So even if there's something that you want to try, and there is, I think the government, like either the government project has failed or whatever, there is still a need, like, because there are real people who want that service, and they would be happy to shell some money, maybe even pay a premium to what you're offering to them. So I think there's it is better to showcase it to the government. This is what I can do better. And thankfully these days, I think a lot of these government agencies are coming forward and interacting with startups to actually take these projects to the ground. So and that you see in the way of like these hackathons that the government is doing, or different competitions every state government is organizing for startups and all. So if you have a solution, test it out, show it to the government, they're more than happy. Like I actively work with the Maharashtra government for innovation projects and stuff. I'm currently managing a couple of projects at the central government level. So I get that backlash कि यार ये कल का लौंडा आके हमको सिखा रहा है. That is what I see in their eyes. कोई मुंह पे बोलता नहीं है. But then when you are doing something that is solving their problem, I think they are in majority cases, I won't say every time, they are open to take that up. And also I think I'll add to what was I think for the teachers, that they're not open to take up the new training sessions and like the new method of teaching that's around here. I think it's pretty much same as the way evolution works. Either you evolve and adapt, or you fall prey to the meteor that has hit us. So I think digital education is the future. There will be several models that will come out. It has to be blended in certain ways, that it will have to be physical and digital in nature. And the sooner that teachers realize that they have to marry this technology now going forward, they'll succeed, or else there will be a better set of people that will come forward. So I think that fight will always be there, because we are currently, like, it's been 3 months, 4 months that we are in a situation nobody had even thought of, like 3 months before, कि यार ऐसा हो सकता है. Nobody was expecting something like this. So yeah, the times are changing. I think the new normal, like, no matter how much negative comments that they give, they'll have to shift. So yeah, I hope that that answers. Now I think Liz, yeah, Shreya, please.
Hi. So I like talking about innovation and technology. Usually these innovations and technologies are like, especially at the rural level and everything. I believe that they're coming into a market where people don't necessarily realize that they need these innovations or technologies to be, like, they're not aware of the fact that they need these things in the first place. So how do you explain, or how do you get them to accept these technologies or innovations? Because it would be better for them, but they are completely unaware of that fact, because they haven't been exposed to that environment, in the first place. So how do you go about for that? How do you develop that acceptance among the people and make them realize that no, this is for the good?
Do you have anything more specific to ask? Like, is there some solution that you're building on? So, because what you said is very broad.
Okay, so for instance, if I have to work at the Anganwadi level, and as a part of the preschool education, toys are very, very essential when it comes to child development. But in these Anganwadis, they have very, very, very basic infrastructure, and they have 3 posters which are kept there, and it's not really of much help at all unless they're working with their motor skills. They're doing some clay modeling or stuff like that in order to develop these skills. But these things don't exist there because people don't know that there is so much importance that needs to be placed for the preschool education in order for the kid to succeed later on in the school itself. So how do you create that vast awareness or acceptance among the people that, okay, no, you need to invest in their education right now so that they can do better later?
May I?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Shreya, this is a response to you, as well as my general understanding about bringing up innovations and initiatives in schools. What I've always felt is, if we go with a predetermined solution, I personally, this is my opinion, I don't think that's the right way to really approach education segment. We need to really understand the context, because I was trying to understand the level of technology acceptance and across different kinds of schools spread in India. What I've understood is, when you have a capable teacher, they don't really need to use technology so much in classrooms. They keep kids away from technology influence to a significant extent, but they do use technology. They bring in information using technology to the classroom, and it's more a hands-on experience. All right. Now, when it comes to a very remote place in India, the scene is probably the teachers. Please don't take my statement in a very biased way, but sometimes teachers are incapable to really bring in that level of information or things like that. But they also have the problem of using technology. They haven't been exposed to that kind of technology. So I kind of feel we must not really go with predetermined solution, but if the solution evolves from them, they would accept it better. So, yeah.
Liz, I think you have put it brilliantly, what we initially were talking about as far as the custom-made, the non-template based learning. So I think you've put it brilliantly in the way of how, actually approach being exactly what you said. So even though, if I can add here, even though it's infrastructural issues, limitations exist, but there is always a way to make things work, even if I'm saying not at one go. So Shreya, if it is very difficult to make everyone understand, accept and love what you are doing, or take those offerings, take those services. But there is always 1, 2, 3 those places, and that's what the effort is all about, identifying from out of those 100, the target bucket theory. So where there is always leaks, there are 2, 3 leaks always. So when the new aware consumers who pour in, there are few who are moving out, there are few who are moving to competitors, and there are some who are stopped using the product or service, etc. So though it's very difficult, but knowing that not everybody I can make happy, right? Neither in business nor in personal life. So once I know that, I can focus my efforts to those 2 or 3. I mean, out of those, maybe some 8, 10 places which I know are actually ones who are ready to accept and at least appreciate what I'm offering. Now, out of those who appreciate, there will always be 2 or 3 who are ready to take that effort. Number 2, also have budgets to do that. So that identification is all is needed. So as far as even a segment like Anganwadi, there are foundations which are doing a lot of work in this. Kotak Foundation is there. You have Bill and Melinda Gates and others such. So rather than reaching out to corporates who have, of course, a 2% of their CSR funds, it also makes a lot of sense to reach out to these foundations. And there are a lot of those who, it's, of course, it's not one single strike that success happens. But I'm just giving an example that, there is always a chance to find the right audience for your offering. And that is the only effort. That's like the first step. Once that is done, things start looking better eventually. So, and also that Liz said, the government teachers, the acceptance, that just pure resistance from their side that mujhe nahi karna hai, mujhe digital nahi samajhna hai, I don't want to, I have been doing this for all my life, I'm fine. But that, even if so, they would realize eventually that if I don't, as Abhijit said, if I don't quickly cope up, I'll be lost. I'll be weeded out. So once that kind of either a sense of fear that instills or a sense of reward, as the carrot or stick kind of approach also works. So either instilling them a fear of insecurity of, because I have tried that and I have faced success in both of them a bit here and there. So where either telling them that, see, if you do this, this is the kind of reward that you actually end up, looking at, some ego boost, some ego massage, or else a fear sense where, this might not, be great for your future. This is like just now and eventually things are going to see a, shift, a dynamic shift across. I guess somebody said something. Yeah, Amrita was saying, I took opinion about online teaching of government teachers. They are so passive with the new normal. Yeah, exactly that. Yeah, Abhijit, please go ahead.
Yeah, questions also. I think what Shilpa also said, that I think there are also limitations when it comes to financial issues for a lot of people, because you talk about Anganwadis and they're like, I think there's a different fight that's going on in the villages right now. And even like just this afternoon, I was speaking to one of my mentors, and he runs like an agricultural company, and they said that it's really bad because of all the lockdown. A lot of their farmers could not get the fertilizers or seeds in time, and that has caused a lot of challenges in the current season of like for agriculture. And I think there's their villages, like when you specifically talk about Anganwadis again, like the funding has been pushed on to more like Corona specific challenges. And I think, as I said previously also, that education has taken sadly a backseat in all of this situation to begin with. So any more questions that you guys have, anything specific to your projects that you guys are thinking in? I think I'm very happy to have the kind of discussions that we have going on. Anyone wants to share about the projects that they're building?
So actually, right now, all of them are in the learning phase. So they haven't submitted their problem statement yet.
Okay. So
I think Ayush has put something very interesting here. So when he says that if we analyze the teacher's perspective, they criticize online education by comparing their efficiency with physical classroom. During this emergency, he started online classes, but the rote learning methodology did not change. When you say, Ayush, rote learning methodology did not change, what do you mean when you say that? Ayush, can you please unmute? Yeah.
Hello, ma'am. Ayush here. I would like to say that we have started online learning, but still teachers go on giving the lectures in the conventional way. What used to continue in classrooms, what we always, like we had said, rote learning is continuing. They are only teaching by rote, and practical based learning does not take place. The same thing is continuing in online classes. They started online classes, but they are more like video lectures where they go on doing the same thing what used to happen in classes. So and in the classroom itself, it was not very efficient, and students just used to mug up things, and they learning was very less. So if that same thing is happening through online mode, then it is much less efficient.
Absolutely. I think what I've also seen at a similar level as what Ayush is saying is a couple of my friends who are teachers, they told me that in some of their classes, teachers are literally reading out textbooks over a Zoom call.
Oh, is it?
That's exactly what's happening, which like just made my like head spin for a bit. Is that for real?
Can I just interrupt? Sorry, I'm really, I want to. But Abhijit, on a more not so gyan giving mode, but it's so difficult to not have those kind of people or not those kind of so-called teachers, because and that's what I think, and I have seen it in colleges, universities, where there are, out of those 20 faculty, there would always be 3 4 who are like, chalo notes banao, dictate. They're dictating in MBA classes. So it's so amazing that ये वाला sample हर जगह होता है. Go to any place and you'll find this. I don't know. And it's amazing. I think that's what the brilliant balance of world is about, the yin and yang balance. कुछ अच्छे के साथ कुछ तो ये वाला sample is always there. I wonder how. But they're sustaining, huh? By the way, for all these years, their jobs are the safest because they don't experiment. जो चल रहा है चलने दो, अच्छा चल रहा है, एक्स्ट्रा काम नहीं करना है, ये मेरे को क्लास में जाके देना है, मेरा KRA में लिखा हुआ है क्लास करनी है. I don't give a damn about innovation or learning. I am, yeah. So never mind. Sorry. Go ahead.
That's true, but
so
Joel wanted to add something.
Yes, ma'am. Adding on to Ayush's point, I think it's quite relevant that he mentioned this, and along with what you just said, man, with teachers preferring the dictating the notes approach towards teaching, I think as long as education is still exam centric and test centric, and it's still our creativity or our ability is still tested on the basis of marks, I think that might not change much. And it's very interesting how Mr. Abhijit from Project DeFi the other day, he mentioned how difficult it is for us to think of a teaching and a learning space which is not like a school, which is not resembling of the institution of a school. So it's not exactly like I have a solution or anything, but it's just quite relevant what Ayush just mentioned. So thank you.
Joey, what do you do, if I may ask?
I'm almost done with my bachelor's degree in English honors, and I'll soon start with my master's in social work in human resource management in Rice University.
I'm sorry, in?
Human resource management.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have already, I mean, you're in your final year, you've already got admitted in for your master's?
I've gotten admission. I'll soon start with it. Rice University.
Rice, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
may
because
I?
you were saying something. Yeah, oh, please, Liz, please. Yeah.
Okay, first of all, before I actually talk about my project, I clearly vouch what Abhijit and Sunanda mentioned about rote dictation, rote learning, as well as dictation of note, because I have been a college teacher and I have really fought against this particular thing. And I've been an MBA teacher. And I have been exposed to, Mumbai colleges, and I was required to teach down south or, remote colleges. And I was finding it really difficult to break this mindset. Don't dictate notes at MBA level, and it was really difficult. I couldn't. But yeah, I took my stand that I'm not going to dictate notes, neither am I going to give notes. It is up to the students to really develop content or whatever they want, preparation of the exams. That's their responsibility. That's not mine. Anyways, okay. That's one part of coming to the project that I'm working on. One thing that I had in mind, this comes from one statement, that if my 10th certificate or my 12th certificate is based on some structured curriculum or subjects, I don't think that really reflects what I am. So I'm looking at working on the curriculum space wherein, you have just very few mandatory subjects, and the rest is so open that for every child, a 10th board exam or whatever, the certificate that they shows their portfolio, what they are good at, and what are their strengths, what are their passions, interests, and that should be, what they present to for the higher education or for corporate jobs or wherever it is. So a highly structured content, the way we follow, that itself is the problem. We have published textbooks, and then you have a very structured assessment. So this is so entangled. I really don't know. I've taken up a very big task, but yeah, that's the area that I would like to work on. Thank you.
Pragya, do you want to say something? I mean, I can see her raise hand.
Yeah, but I think I can continue at the last. They are having more important than mine.
We didn't get you, Pragya.
If everyone is over, then I can start.
So let's first complete what Liz has to say, and then we can move for your conversation, Pragya. Is that okay?
Sure.
So Liz, to be very honest, it sounds brilliant as far as the kind of structure you're talking about. But to be very honest, I'm yet to understand exactly what is the concept about, as in what exactly is the offering that you are talking about. Sorry, I might have missed. I'm sorry, but if you can just help put that together.
Yeah, Sunanda. Now, this is a very vague idea that I have, but I was looking at developing a curriculum in which you have very few mandatory subjects, which probably helps in building a child's skill sets for higher learning. Very basic skills, nothing higher. Those are just the mandatory subjects. And after that, a child should be given the option to choose the subject that he or she wants to study. That's how the curriculum has to be structured, rather than fitting it with history, science, math,
Okay.
I don't think that structured curriculum is something. We have to bring in a lot of flexibility. Like we have interdisciplinary courses happening in the university. So I think even the school education has to change that way. We have to really bring in that level of, flexibility. Yeah.
Right. So Liz, are you, because of course we don't know anyone's background. So are you at the moment doing it for your own organization, or you are planning to offer it to schools as, because this would need an altogether a new setup, a setup of actually a different type of school, a more experiential learning, I guess that's what you are focusing on, that's what you're talking about. So what exactly, how do you plan to bring it? I understand and it's absolutely fine though, even if it is vague at the moment, but you would have thought how to operate, how to function around it.
Okay, Sunanda, I really don't know how to make this happen, but I was looking at really policy level influence.
Okay.
It is not, I'm not running any school. I'm not running any school. And I'm looking at a big scale influence, policy level influence, wherein the curriculum has to change.
Right.
But I don't know how.
That's quite, not everybody has the courage to think of. So kudos to that, Liz. Great that you can.
Yeah.
Can I just add? The reason why I'm saying is, you can't bring in changes in bits and pieces. Our system of education really needs a revolution. We can't go with bits and pieces of changes. No, that's what I feel. Sorry.
The reason me and Abhijit are smiling are, I'm sure Abhijit, can we read each other's minds?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Because Liz, it's very interesting of how I'm very glad that I can sense the passion, I can sense the enthusiasm, I can sense the fire in the belly when you are talking about this. And it sounds, I'm sure it sounds like all of us. I'm sure it sounds like me for sure. Last 12 years, I realized post the education was over, I realized that maybe if I cannot bring it at a big level, at least I'm sure I can bring it at a smaller level. And maybe I can at least, because for me to, maybe I didn't have the guts, or maybe I didn't have the resources, or I can complain about other things. I'm sure I'll have a lot of excuses to make. But I guess it's always also good to think of, I'm just giving a perspective, sorry, unsolicited though, but I think it's always good to think as a starter where I can just try and see if this can work. And then once, because even if you talk about a policy level, everyone would like to see, okay, how has it worked before? How have you seen it working? I mean, you would like to have some evidence. Human beings are very non-trustworthy people. So we want evidence of everything. So maybe you can actually, I'm just giving, a thought here. I'm just thinking aloud that you might just think of trying and testing it at some level and seeing how it can work. And then those results will help you garner to reaching those levels which can actually make those lives of my child at least better. He's 5 and I'm already worried education would
sorry to interrupt here, but we have already extended this session by half an hour, and Abhijit also had some other work after this program. So I know all participants are very much excited and they have so many questions and so many things to discuss. But as you all know that we have a form where you can write your all questions and inputs for our speakers, and we will share those questions with the speakers and they will answer them. But I think maybe we can take if Abhijit has time and you have time, then maybe we can take last one question and then I think we have to stop.
I think I'll have to move because I have a meeting starting in So Sunanda, if you can just take up the last question. Okay, so I'll just some closing thoughts. It's been great interacting. I think if the questions would have poured in initially, it would have given us more time to discuss. The kind of interaction that we had after 50% of the session was over could have been there from the beginning. To just put a closing thought to what Liz also said, that I think to bring about a systematic change and at a policy level, you have to I would at certain level disagree with you, Sunanda, at that level, because I think there is a power in a singular person that can bring about the change. What we've been able to do as a team, as a group of people, is bring together the voices. And I think what Makeshift is doing here through the next Eduthon, this primarily becomes like, I think this was the idea of like these two amazing women that I know, who brought together people who are working in the education space, just putting together what can work, what cannot work. And I think all these interactions can technically become a policy level document which can go as a recommendation to government that, okay, this is what people are thinking. This is what we as an innovation agency or we as a group of people have come forward, and few of these things can work. So probably some of
Right.
you who were there yesterday's session where Jayant and his team, they actually presented their entire findings, their suggestions to the Chief Minister of Karnataka, and they have a follow-on meeting now. So I think there's nothing stopping from any one of you going and voicing your opinions.
So
Right.
that's what the point I mentioned when you said that they represented the findings to the Chief Minister.
Yes.
They did it somewhere to
Yeah.
go and
Yeah.
represent it. That's what I meant. So
Exactly.
that pilot testing
Yeah.
of, that's when you will create the findings. I mean, where would you get it from once
Exactly.
you don't apply? So
So
absolutely.
I think something like this also, like, nobody is stopping you from hosting another next eduthon. But then yeah,
Yeah,
the
we will help you.
yeah, the fact
Which
that these
thought?
guys
Sorry, I didn't get that. For me?
Sorry?
For me?
No, for everyone out here.
Ah,
in general.
right. Absolutely. Yeah,
I'm
right.
saying if nobody is stopping anyone from doing activities like this.
Anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then these
Yeah,
guys went
and
ahead
curriculum
did it.
designing is not expensive.
Yes. So
So-
I just realized we started our conversation and we didn't introduce our speakers today.
No, I think we did.
It
So
just started.
I'm sorry, but I have to.
Yeah, you go. I'll introduce you after you go.
Sure.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye, Vijay. Thanks for your time. It was
Thank
lovely
you for your
interacting.
time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
really, really a learning experience. Thanks.
Yes. So yes, last question, I think.
Okay. Is that for me, or if there is anybody else, I don't mind.
I think there was someone else who wanted to talk, right? Who was that?
Ma'am,
That
it was
girl,
me.
I forgot her name. There was some girl, I think she said, I will talk later after everything is done. Something like that she
Yeah,
said.
I think, yeah, somebody said. Pragya, I guess. Pragya wanted to say something.
Yeah, Pragya.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Pragya, you are.
Ma'am,
Yeah.
to my statement, you answered that we need to approach the teachers in a different way.
Right.
In almost 1,000 ways, and I supported them, I requested them, I suggested them, I did everything. And then even I showed them some of my sessions with Dhruv sir as well. And one of the Sharwari Ma'am's session with Dhruv sir, which he took at the coffee conversations, even I shared that with my teachers, but they never accepted that. So that's still a problem.
Pragya, because if I may understand, you are a student, right?
Yes.
That's that's not a problem. That's a problem for them. See, very unfortunate, but unfortunately, a lot of unfortunate things are true. We as, again, because I study neuromarketing and I end up studying a lot of psychology aspects. So we as human beings, we are very prone to hierarchy structures. And despite if someone who has a brilliant idea, has amazing thought process, has something learning to take from, it's very difficult for us, and not everybody has the openness or acceptance to know, to learn from others. हम
Yes.
बोल सकते हैं, लेकिन कोई criticize करके देखो अभी look at my expression changing. So that's something that, it's unfortunate, but if this approach comes from someone who's senior to those teachers in either age or experience or hierarchy or social parameters, it would definitely be different. Because for them,
Yeah.
you are a student, तुम्हें क्या पता है? तुम तो मेरे student हो. What do you know about this? So
And
even if you
even
have,
us to go further, like I'm into the innovation field, I love to explore, I love creating, and even like when I go for once to the ATL labs, and the teachers are like, why did you went there? And even if I taught it, I teach it to my friends, even they say that this is just wasteless. And when I showed them that I got selected for next eduthon, I went for Ideate for India final level as well. And then I created this, I created that, I innovated that, I got this award, and they're like, wow, it's good. And when I suggested to my friends, and they say it's wasteless. The
so
teachers even
Pragya,
motivate my friends.
you have watched movie Guru?
No.
Guru देखिए? No, please. Then just go and watch the statement or hear it from me. Save your time. अगर लोग तुम्हारी तरक्की से जल रहे हैं तो तुम तरक्की कर रहे हो. You are on absolutely right path. You don't have to give a damn about those unless those. So there's a saying that says, don't accept criticism from those to whom you won't go for advice. So only those people who are worth your, where you can go and take advice, only those are right people to even criticize you. And those are the criticism that matters. Everything else is just because they don't know, they're ignorant. So take their ignorance and bless them. Ki may God make them more knowledgeable and move on, even if it is your teachers. Because eventually, once you do well, they'll be saying, "Yaar, ye mera student hai. I taught him. I taught her." That will come.
Yes.
Yeah. So go on. Don't worry. Keep on doing what you're doing. Those teachers
so
are
they
not
are
your
also
target set.
humans.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and they are also humans, right? So there are all kind of people out there. So you just need to know whom to like she said, whom to focus and whom to ignore. Otherwise, you will get frustrated with everything happening around you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So I think that was the last question. So before we move ahead, I will introduce our speakers. I'm extremely sorry for this. We have Sunanda with us, and she's a founder of Co-Emerge, and she carries 10 plus years of experience in varied industries, including domestic and international market. Her training and development workshops and courses have clocked more than 2,000 hours, and she has trained corporate professionals, institutes, postgraduate students, and school children. And we had Abhijit with us, who is a founder of the Vruksh ecosystem. Vruksh ecosystem is an innovation think tank building a cohesive innovation, incubation, mentoring, maker, and entrepreneurship ecosystem. Vruksh is focused towards building a culture of innovation, problem solving, and entrepreneurship in undeserved geographies and solve local problems. So Vruksh ecosystem is also one of our partners for next Eduthon.
Ruchira, your voice is cracking.
Hear me now?
Yeah.
Hello. So I say thank you so much for your kind words and your time. It was really engaging, and we all enjoyed it. And I hope all the participants also enjoyed. Yeah. So thanks to you and Abhijit, both of you.
Thank you so much.
So whatever questions these guys will have, yeah. And also, like, if you have any material, like reading material or anything which participants can refer regarding this topic, then please share it with us so that we can share that stuff with the participants.
Sure. I'll do that. Yeah. And thank you so much, everyone, for giving your time here. It's been 1.5 hours, quite a lot. Thanks so much. Thank you, Ruchira, for having me on board. It was a lovely experience.
Yes. Keep in touch. Yeah,
we will. All of us. And wish you all of you, wish you all the best in the Eduthon. May you all look at success in all the ways that you're looking for. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.